the moves for a window, you go back to Man United, who've signed players and who are going to be pushing for the title. He's really surplus to the requirement, and that, when you're not playing, you're not going to get in the England team. In fact, if he's not getting game time down the line, he won't even get in the England squad, because the boys in commentary mentioned it's a deep squad now for Gareth Southgate to pick from. It's not just youngsters, but experienced players. So for Jesse Lingard, over the next 12 months, he has to find a home where he's getting regular game time, because he has got the talent to influence games, and I mean for country as well as club. So yeah, intrigued to see what happens for him, because sitting at Man United is not going to work. But
speaking of young talent, Jude Bellingham's shown a lot of what he can offer in that first half.
You know, I'm just amazed by these kids that go, particularly to the Bundesliga, and play regular. He's one of quite a few. But an amazing talent, and he to me looks like a player who plays the game in his 20s, not as a teenager. He's composed, he's balanced, he rarely gets flustered, and he's still learning. He's got every attribute possible. That's why Dortmund gave him the contract that he did, and I think down the line he's going to make another big move. But yeah, he's going to be around this England setup, along with quite a few others, for quite a period to come.
Now, I know you're not a big fan of the FIFA rankings.
No.
It's fair to say. Andorra 156, though. Now, there's been a bit of upset from their captain about something that was said back at home by Gary Lineker, that some of these nations are kind of making up the numbers a lot of the time. They felt that it was unfair. What are your thoughts on these
I just feel there has to be a better way to do it, because too many of these games are what you would call a dead rubber. And I was involved in quite a few of them myself, playing against the likes of the Faroe Islands and San Marino. And some of these results were close, but the games were not competitive. The results looked competitive, but the games were not. And I've always felt there has to be a better way to showcase these qualifiers without having teams that literally have no chance in it, because they don't.
Well, maybe Andorra can trick.
And I've upset people again, I know that, but that's par for the course.
Probably. Anyway, we will have the second half coming up, but England currently leading Andorra 1-0 at the break.
Well, Geico's 85 years isn't just about time, you know. It means experience. I mean, put it this way. If I told you I'd been jarring raspberry preserves for 85 years, what would you think? Well, at first, you'd be like, that has got to be some scrumptious jam. And then you'd think, he looks fantastic. I must know his skincare routine.
Geico, saving people money for 85 years.
Beg your pardon.
That delicious scramble was microwaved? Get out of here.
Everybody's a skeptic.
Right, brothers? More like, yeah, right, brothers. Get out of here.
It's not crazy. It's a scramble. Just crack an egg.
All the parts that you need to keep her on the road. For work, for school, everywhere you go. But sometimes they can be hard to find. Rock Auto's got the parts for whatever you drive. Keep on that work truck, you just save some big bucks. All the parts you're looking for delivered to your front door. All the parts your car will ever need. Rock Auto. All the parts your car will ever need. Rock Auto. All the parts you're looking for.
This is how you win with TiVo Stream 4K and Sling TV. Find your favorite team on the right channel fast. Hit the guide button to watch free local games on the Locast app. Now let's go get it! With $10. This is how you win with TiVo Stream 4K and Sling TV. Find your favorite team on the right channel fast. Hit the guide button to watch free local games on the Locast app. Now let's go get it! This is how you win with TiVo Stream 4K and Sling TV. Find your favorite team on the right channel fast. Hit the guide button to watch free local games on the Locast app. Now let's go get it! This is how you win with TiVo Stream 4K and Sling TV. Find your favorite team on the right channel fast. Hit the guide button to watch free local games on the Locast app. Now let's go get it! This is how you win with TiVo Stream 4K and Sling TV. Find your favorite team on the right channel fast. the guys who watch free local games on the low cast app. This power with the right channel. You're the guys who watch free local games on the low cast app. This power with the right channel. You're the guys who watch free local games on the low cast app.
Treatment plan specifically for her. She's very much more social, more expressive since she got her treatment. I love her smile.
It's like that, and everybody knew that it wasn't going to be well received in England just because of the history of the pyramid, of the grassroots and everything like that. And when you try to do something like that, you're trying to take away the history of football in England, and he was just never going to stand with the supporters, and thankfully really didn't get off the ground. And that's why I think
distinguished playing career with 5 Premier League clubs. In the context of today's game, here to offer his expertise, having played 3 games for Gibraltar, the tail end of his career, becoming an international at the age of 34.
Yeah, I'm far used to the minnow status, without doubt. So it was interesting when we had a chat earlier on in the week and we were talking about Andorra, and it was yourself that brought it out, and he was like, what about your experiences for Gibraltar? And it is, I've seen both sides of it, and the players that play for Andorra and they play for Gibraltar and other lesser nations, so many people are saying, well, they shouldn't be on the same pitch as England and teams like that. But my argument to that is why? Why not? Why shouldn't they? Because this is something, I know you call it a fairy tale and the games aren't sometimes much of a spectacle, but other than playing for the national team, how many of these players would ever get the opportunity to play at Wembley against an England team? So I think that has to be taken into account.
All 3 substitutes making an impact. Grealish and Mount combining to get the penalty, and the main man, Harry Kane, putting